What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back again for another Tottenham update, and let's get straight into it. And let's start off talking about Antonio Conte, and he is looking for upgrades in this January. And Dan Kilpatrick says that Conte thinks that Spurs can upgrade on Tanganga, Pape Matar and Bryan Gil, whether it be this January or the summer. I suspect he's talking about this January, but those are three definite players that we can upgrade on. I mean, there's no real surprises there.
He ain't the only one looking for upgrades, I don't think. I think the whole Tottenham fan base is on the same boat. I think when it comes to Tanganga, I think obviously he's at an age now where he needs regular first-team football, and I don't know. I just question whether it's going to be at Tottenham at this point. As much as I want him to succeed a lot, and I do think he's a good defender, I don't know if he's what Conte would want when it comes to someone he can rely on. Pape Matar, I think he's a work in progress. He's still young. He's still a teenager. So I think he just needs to, obviously he can definitely be upgraded on right now. In terms of prospects, I still think he's got a lot of potential, so I wouldn't let him go.
Looked good last night.
He did look good, but again, I don't know if he can rely on him right now. And then Bryan Gil, I don't think he's a Conte player, and that's the sticking point there.
In terms of that, we know that Conte doesn't stick around for places for too long. Is it worth just holding on to Bryan Gil and keep loaning him out just in case that Conte is not here for the foreseeable?
Probably, yeah.
Because I think the talent that he has, I think is second to none. But when I'm looking...
Second to none?
Huh? Yes, second to a few people. But I think that with Bryan Gil, his talent is clearly there, really clearly there. But when I'm comparing him and Pape Matar, I think that Sarr is physically ahead of him at the moment for me. And I think when I looked at on the pitch yesterday, both of them had really strong games, but I felt Pape Matar looked a bit more at home at that level.
Potentially. I think he's probably more of a Conte player as well in terms of the system we play and how he wants his players. But I think both of them probably need a loan, to be honest.
All right, well, that is the upgrade situation. In terms of a couple of incomings, we've already spoken about Pedro Porro quite a few times, so we're going to speak about him again, as a publication out in Portugal called O Jogo say that Tottenham are accelerating negotiations over a deal for Pedro Porro. Sporting are asking for a minimum of 35 million euros, and Spurs could soon make an offer. I mean, 35 million euros is a great deal for Pedro Porro, and it's also worth noting that Ojogo were the publication that actually broke the news about Luis Diaz, about Spurs and Liverpool last January as well. So it could be an interesting source.
Let's hope it accelerates quicker, because we know there are other clubs circulating, and Man City might want to trigger their release clause. So I think if it's one that we're sure about, we should go quickly and try and get it done as quickly as possible. And I think it will massively benefit the team. So 35 million, if that's true, is a pretty fair deal, I would say, for someone of his age and his potential.
I mean, how much did we sign Emerson Royale for?
That was about 22 million. So that's how many euros? 30 million euros?
So if you're pretty much spending the same amount of money on a Pedro Porro, I mean, you have to be brainless.
Levy would argue, I don't want to make the same mistake again. Of course he would.
Damn you, Levy! Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about the goalkeeping situation now, as obviously we all know the time for Hugo Lloris is coming to an end at some point pretty soon, and we have to start looking at his successor. And we've got links to Emi Martinez, obviously fresh off the back of winning that World Cup with Argentina. Tuto Mercato Weber saying that admits reports claiming linking Martinez with a move to Tottenham. The goalkeeper's agent, Gustavo Goni, has revealed that his client wants to play Champions League football. In terms of Emi Martinez, would he be a viable replacement for you for Hugo Lloris?
I think he'd be viable, but I think he probably... I'm trying to think of the other keepers right now in the top six. I don't think he's as good as them. The other keepers there are right now. I think Martinez is obviously, look, he's a king shithouse. We know that. He's loves to get in people's faces. Especially in the penalty shootouts and things like that. I think over a tournament, that's where he really shines, in those big moments. I think over a season, I don't know if he's of the required quality. I think he's good, but I don't know if he's like a mid-level Premier League goalkeeper, or if he's really in that elite category where he's in the top six. I'm still undecided. I think when I see him play for Villa, I do think he makes quite a few mistakes, and I don't think his shot stopping ability is that outstanding. But I do think he's a good presence in the area, and I think as well in those big moments, I think he can really step up.
I kind of disagree about the shot stopping because I think he's actually got world-class shot stopping ability. I really do. I think this season for Aston Villa, he has let himself down a little bit in the build-up to the World Cup. I think that he hasn't shown his true kind of abilities this season. But when he first joined Villa in his first season there, I thought he was brilliant. In his last year or two at Arsenal when he broke into the team, I thought he was brilliant. The reservation I have about Martinez is with his feet. If he's good enough with his feet, I'm not too sure. But I think shot stopping, I think he's really good. And obviously mentality and coming for crosses and being a presence in that box, I think he's really good. But the reservations I have about him is with his feet, to be honest.
Fair enough. But I just don't think he's that amazing of a shot stopper. I see him, a lot of things go through him a lot of the time. And that's what I'm worried about with him, whether over a season that costs you a bit too much. But I think he makes good saves, but I just don't think he's that great of a shot stopper.
In terms of like the money though, they're going to be asking for him. Obviously, he only just joined Villa not long ago. He joined there for what, 20 million or something like that, 25 million. He's just won the World Cup. He just had a brilliant World Cup and got Golden Glove. I mean, how much are we going to have to pay if we want him?
I think, when did he sign a contract? Didn't he sign a contract recently, or was he joined Villa?
Didn't he just join there last season?
This is his second season at Villa.
Exactly.
So
I know his contract ends in 2027, I think it is.
Or was it his third season at Villa? It's might be his third season at Villa.
Either way, his contract ends in 2027.
Yeah, because he signed a really long-term one. So, yeah, you're looking at 30, 40 million at least.
Probably more.
Yeah,
I mean, more than 30 anyway. Closer to 40, in excess of 40.
He's what, 28, 29?
He's 30.
30. So, yeah, I mean, I can't see it being more than like... I mean, I guess he's on a long contract, but I wouldn't pay more than 45 if we're convinced that he's our answer. I think 45 is a fair deal.
And you're talking about a keeper probably going. His next move is probably his last big move of his career.
Probably.
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, would I take him? I would take him. I think he'll be an asset for us, but I do think that we could probably get better if we really push the boat out. But are we really going to push the boat out? I don't know. And I think that he's a good keeper.
If Hugo said we're going to be looking for another keeper for another 10 years, I don't know if it'll be Emi Martinez.
No, that's not him. That's not him for another 10 years. But it could be him for another 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, if we're looking for a stopgap, then yeah. But why are we looking for a stopgap? We have Hugo now, and might as well just go for a younger one.
The thing is with Martinez as well is that since he's left Arsenal, he always likes to throw some shade their way, and I think him coming to Spurs, I think might play into that narrative as well, and I think Martinez would love that.
Yeah, maybe that would also suit him. Yeah, because he always has something to say whenever they play Arsenal, doesn't he?
Yeah. Even after they won the World Cup, I think he said something about Arsenal, but he's always saying something in a negative light to Arsenal. So that may be why I like him a bit more than maybe his goalkeeping abilities. But that's Emi Martinez. Let's talk about Cody Gakpo now. ESPN claiming that Spurs have scouted PSV Eindhoven's forward Cody Gakpo ahead of the January transfer window. And why this is interesting as well, because Ruud van Nistelrooy, obviously he's working at PSV at the moment. He said that it's becoming increasingly hard to keep Cody Gakpo at the club, and he was kind of insinuating that a January transfer could be on the cards for Cody. Do you think this is one that we could be going for in January, or do you think the price range will just be a bit out of our range?
Again, a really good player, really high potential, versatile. I think if we're looking for like a potential long-term replacement for Sonny, he could maybe be someone we were looking at. I really believe he can play like a central area and out wide as well. But the question is whether he comes in, he'll want to be an instant starter. Will he definitely get that at Tottenham? That's a big question mark. He obviously comes into a front line which is very well established right now, especially on the left-hand side. And it's a big outlay. Are we going to have a big outlay on someone who's going to demand that first team? I mean, for me, I would say it's worth it to have a deep squad, and maybe he could even earn a starting place and even take Son's place the way Son's playing, to be honest. But I would say that he'd be a brilliant player. But there are reservations on that, and also his how right he is for the Premier League. Yeah, his adaptability. So there are question marks. So that would probably prevent us spending big money, in my opinion. But having looked at him in the World Cup and what he's doing for PSV, I think he's worth the gamble in my opinion. But I think I reckon the hierarchy would urge on the sign of caution.
Especially after the Bergwijn deal as well. I would love to see Gakpo through the door, and I think that we have spent, a serious amount of money on someone that's not a definite starter as well in Richarlison. So, can I see us doing it again within a year? I don't know, but I would love to see him through the door, that's for sure. I mean, imagine having Gakpo and Son on one side, Richarlison and Kane through the middle, and then one more for Kulusevski with Kulusevski as well. I mean, you're talking about serious talent in the top end of the pitch for Tottenham Hotspur. But that's Cody Gakpo. Let me know in the comment section below, would you like to see him come through the door at Tottenham Hotspur? That's it for transfers, but we do have Harry Kane returning to the football club. Today is his first official day back at training. We saw a clip of him at the friendly yesterday, drinking his warm tea, going to sit down and watch the game. In terms of Harry Kane, do you think that he's back in line to start against Brentford?
I do. Matt Doherty was talking in his post-match interview with Sky Sports, saying that Kane is absolutely fine. There's no issues with Kane. He's going to come back with his mentality, and he's going to hit the ground running. He's sure of it, and I'm getting increasingly convinced of it as well. He's going to get abuse from the opposition fans and all that. He knows that. He has to expect that. But as soon as that first goal goes in, after the restart, I think all that will start to melt away, and I think he's going to be back to his best. I'm sure of it. He's going to want a point to prove as well, and he's probably going to be even more motivated now to try and break that trophy duck in the second half of the season than maybe he was before the World Cup. So I'm happy that he's back. I can't wait to see him back on the pitch, and we're going to give him all the support he needs from the stands.
I didn't realise it. Maybe I did realise it, but I just forgot because it's been so long since Spurs have been about. But he's only 5 goals behind Jimmy Greaves.
Yeah, that's it.
5 goals. Yeah, it's mental.
He's going to break the all-time Tottenham.
So by the end of the season, he's going to be England's top goal scorer ever, Tottenham's top goal scorer ever, but have 0 trophies behind his name.
Unbelievable, and he won't end his career that way.
It's unbelievable. Like, to break Jimmy Greaves' record, like it looked like before Harry Kane came about, like nobody would ever do it. Literally.
And he's going to do it with a lot to spare as well.
And you had like players like who scored a lot of goals for us, like the Robbie Keanes, the Jermaine Defoes, these kind of strikers, even the Peter Crouches, like who you thought scored a lot of goals for Spurs, but they didn't even touch the surface.
Didn't get close.
Nowhere near.
Nowhere near. And Kane is doing it, and he's got many more years to play, and hopefully as well. At least one anyway, I'd hope.
Yeah, but yeah, so let's hope Harry Kane can break that within the first few games of coming back. But that's Harry Kane. We've got some quotes on from Dejan Kulusevski as well, as Kulusevski has claims that Tottenham's recent training sessions were harder than pre-season, and Antonio Conte takes no prisoners. And the quote is, he's talking about Conte, and he says, he is good. He doesn't care about nothing. You've just got to do the work. It don't matter if you're cold, if you're hurt. It doesn't matter if it's dark or if it's raining. You've just got to do the work, and that's how it's supposed to be. Yeah, I think it was a little harder than pre-season. We're doing a lot of running, a lot of gym. It's been a lot of training, been so much running in the dark, but in the way that's fun. It's also fun to do it with your teammates, with your brothers. So we've been enjoying it. We've worked a lot on pressing, and this is actually really, a thing that I found quite interesting. We worked a lot on our pressing, and it's important we get better. We won the ball a few times high up the pitch against Nice, but I think that the next thing is that when we win the ball back, we have to choose the right pass so we can score. I feel very good now, and now I think it's just the moment to rest for 3 or 4 days before the real games start, and I think that the work has been done and it's time to recover and be ready for Monday. So what do you make out of those quotes?
Yeah, I love it. I think Decky is clearly itching to get back on the pitch. You can hear it in those quotes, I think. And considering how much football he's already missed this season, I bet he can't wait. And then when it comes to Conte, we all know how crazy he can be on the training pitch and how much he demands of the players. And some argue
doesn't care if you're sick, doesn't care if you're tired, doesn't care if you're injured, whatever. Just get on that training pitch.
And that's maybe why it doesn't last long, because he's just so demanding. But I think definitely in the early stages, like where we are with Conte, I think the players love it, they enjoy it, they thrive off it, and it gives him that belief as well, that he knows what he's doing, and that the demands of him is nothing less than what he demands from himself. So I love it that Conte is pushing these players hard. They're only going to benefit from it, in my opinion, and I can't wait to see Decky back on the pitch.
Absolutely. So yeah, that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any thoughts regarding any of the news stories we brought to you today. Thank you everyone for joining us. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.